Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've ranked what, in my personal opinion, is the best 10 goalkeepers, centre-backs and full-backs in League 2 from this season. In today's video, we have the top 10 midfielders, holding midfielders, box-to-box midfielders, attacking midfielders, that all going into one crunch-down list of the best 10 this season, in my opinion. It's going to be controversial. There's going to be debates down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. 200 likes, as always, would be massively appreciated. And let's get into it. In at 10th place then, I have Jamie McDonnell of Colchester United, I believe on loan from Premier League side at Nottingham Forest. And this season, I have been really impressed with him. Some people might say he should be a lot higher up on the list, but in my personal opinion, I think he's more than good enough to make it into the top 10. There is some real talent who don't even feature on this list. We might even need to do a part 2 of the best 10 midfielders in League 2, which I guess would then be 11th to 20th. But I think Jim McDonnell, for me, definitely deserves to be on this list. You see the amount of green in his recent form, and he's playing against some very decent sides for the level. This season, he has started the 26 matches, playing nearly 2,400 minutes. Just 1 goal and no assists, and that's a big reason as to why I can't put him any higher on this list. I know he's a holding midfielder. I know his primary job is to win the ball back, but we've got some other holding midfielders who play number 6 who've got a lot more goal contributions on this list. But I still think a 73% successful pass rate is pretty solid. Just 0.9 interceptions per game, but 4.2 tackles per game, 4.8 balls recovered per game. He is dribble passed on more than one occasion per match, but he also has 4.2 clearances per game, 1 error which has led to a shot, winning 57% of his ground duels and 63% of his aerial duels. He's clearly got some very good stats. He's also got some room for improvement, which is the reason why I can't put him any higher on this list. But Jamie McDonnell for me is in at 10th. In 9th position then, we have Owen Bailey of Doncaster Rovers. Now this season I have been really impressed with the holding midfield. He's played and started in 40 matches, played nearly 3,600 minutes so far this campaign, where he has scored the 5 goals. He's also chipped in with 4 assists, 9 goal contributions for what is not traditionally an attacking midfielder in Owen Bailey. I do think is a really, really good return. Defensively, his stats are pretty solid, just 0.7 interceptions per game, but 1.8 tackles per game, 3.2 balls recovered per game, and 2.2 clearances per game as well. He has had 2 errors which have led to a shot, but he wins 59% of his ground duels and 57% of his aerial duels. Again, I think there is better on this list, but I think going forward, to get nearly double figures, I think he'll probably finish on over double figures for goal contributions. I think that's very impressive in my personal opinion. Defensively, very solid as well. Yes, there's better in this division, but Owen Bailey for me is a 9th best in the league this season. In 8th place, we have Alex Pattison of Bradford City. Of course, I had to get a couple bantams in there on this list, with us obviously being top of the league at the moment. I don't want to see anybody complaining and calling me biased. We've been garbage for years. Normally, we're going to have a player in the top 50, so it's nice to be able to actually talk about some Bradford City players. Now, on his day, Alex Pattison, he is the best in the league, 100%, but unfortunately, it has been another season hampered by injuries. Not as bad as last year, where he could barely string a run of 3 games together before his hamstring went again. He has managed to feature on 25 occasions in the league, but just 19 starts and just over 1,500 minutes. He has scored the 6 goals and averaged a goal from holding midfield every 258 minutes, with a 15% goal conversion rate, which again I think is absolutely brilliant. Also contributed to 2 assists with a 76% accurate pass rate. Defensively, his stats aren't amazing, but he does recover the ball on 3.6 occasions per game. The rest of his stats, like I say, that's not really his game. He's not really going to put in a sliding tackle. He's not really going to intercept the ball. He's just going to run after you, harass you, and win that ball back. Dual stats are actually quite surprising for somebody who's 5'7" to win 61% of your ground duels. Aerial duels. He's absolutely outstanding. Only winning 39% though of your ground duels obviously isn't amazing. He does have a 35% successful dribble rate. He got the most AIDS red card you'll ever see away at Crewe just for kicking the ball at somebody. How on earth was that a straight red card? If Pattison would have been fit for the full season, I have no doubt he would be number 1 on this list for me, because I think he's absolutely outstanding. You look at his goal at home to Walsall, his second goal that being, you look at his goal at home to Grimsby, he can pick the ball from the halfway line, dribble past 3 players and whip it in the bottom corner. He is absolutely outstanding. He's a brilliant ball striker, scored some unbelievable goals so far this season, and he absolutely has to be on this list, absolutely has to be in that top 10, and like I say, if he'd have been injury free, he'd probably be in at first, because he is outstanding. In at 7th on my list then, I have George Abbott of Notts County, obviously currently on loan from Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I always see people talking about Abbott as if he's, one of the best players that League Two have ever seen. And don't get me wrong, he's a very good player, definitely deserves to be in the top 10. But from what I've seen of him, I think there's better players at Notts County. From what I've seen of him, I think there's also better players in this division. I still think he deserves to be in the top 10. That's why I've got him in 7th. But I also do believe there are better than him in this league. So far this season, he has played just over 3,000 minutes, including 33 league starts for him. Just the 4 goals for him and also 5 assists. So again, nearly 10 goal contributions for someone who's played large as an attacking midfielder. Recently though, has dropped down into number 6 position. Defensively though, his stats really did impress me. 1.7 interceptions per game, 2.5 tackles per game, 4.9 balls recovered per game, and 1.4 clearances per game as well. He wins 53% of his ground duels, but only 37% of his aerial duels. Defensively, I think he's been a real standout this season. Again, you look at the statistics, he has kept an 87% successful pass rate as well, creating the 6 big chances. I do think he's a good player. He's clearly going to go on to much better things than League 2. Will it be in League 1 next season with Notts County? I guess only time will tell, but George Abbott for me is in at 7th place. In 6th position, I have Dan Crowley, former of Notts County, now of MK Dons, and I'm sure I'm going to see Notts fans in the comments talking about, oh, George Abbott's 10 times the player Dan Crowley is. No, Dan Crowley on his day, probably one of the best midfielders in this entire division. Unfortunately for him, his move to MK Dons hasn't quite worked out, but even in the first half of the season, he was absolutely outstanding for Notts County. Last year got like 25, 30 goal contributions from midfield. This season, I think he's on around 15 or so, but he's just an absolute joy to watch. When he's on his day, when he's playing as a number 10, high up the pitch, he is absolutely outstanding. Every time I've seen Bradford City play against him, he's looked like a championship quality player, but I understand that there is a tendency to hog the ball a little bit. His attitude maybe isn't perfect, and that's probably the reason why he is still playing in League 2. But this season, he has played over 3,100 minutes. He started every game that he's played. When Dan Crowley's fit and available, there's a reason why he always does get the start. He has scored the 4 goals so far this season, also contributed 2 at 9 assists. He's created 20 big chances. That is absolutely outstanding. He averages 2.1 key passes per game as well. Defensively, he's not even awful either. 1.4 tackles per game, 5.9 balls recovered per game, but he has also had 3 errors which have led to a shot. 1 penalty offence committed. He only wins 10% of his aerial duels and wins 52% of his ground duels. Again, if he'd have stayed at Notts County for the full season, I have no doubt they would be a League 1 football club at next campaign, and it's obviously a bit of a shame for him that his move to MK Dons hasn't really worked out. But in my personal opinion, I'd have Dan Crowley above George Abbott. Before we do go any further though with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. 200 likes, as I mentioned at the start of today's video, would be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with my ranking, and what would your top 10 best midfielders in the league from this season be? Let me know down below. In at 5th position then, I'm going to go with Ben Garrity of Port Vale. When he's been fit and available, he has been an incredibly important player to this Port Vale team this season. Now, there is one more Port Vale midfielder to come. Spoiler, it's not Reece Walters. I was massively impressed with him when he played against Bradford City the other week, but he's only signed in January, so it's a bit hard for me to really put him in there. But Ben Garrity definitely deserves to be on this list. Over 2,200 minutes played so far this season. He has scored the 5 goals. He has missed a further 5 big chances and has a 15% goal conversion rate. Also contributed 2 assists. Defensively, very solid though, with 1 interception per game, 1.4 tackles per game, 4.3 balls recovered per game, and 2.1 clearances per game as well. He wins 47% of his ground duels and 62% of his aerial duels. He has been so important to the success that Port Vale have had so far this season. The win percentage when he's in and out of the side is clear for all to see. One of the best midfielders in this division. Has it been his best season at this level? No, you probably say the season where Port Vale were last promoted from this level was a little bit better, but even now at, what is he, 30? He's not even 30, he's 28 years of age, still flying for Port Vale, and I think if they do go up, which they will, probably as champions, he's going to be a big part of that. So Ben Garrity for me, he's in at 5th place. In 4th position, I'm going to go with Richie Smallwood of Bradford City. He has been absolutely outstanding for the Bantams this season. Does a lot of the ugly work that no one else really wants to do. He wins the ball back absolutely excellently, leads from the front. When we were battered away at Port Vale, really, he was the only player who looked like the occasion hadn't got to him, and he wanted to be on the ball, and he was the only player really trying to do anything, and that, I thought, showed real signs of a captain, of a leader. Obviously now 34 years of age, but this has probably been his best season in a Bradford City shirt. Graham Alexander, he's getting the best out of him. He's played, I think, every minute in the league so far this season, only missed about 30 minutes in all competitions, and that was in the EFL Trophy. He has scored the 2 goals, both from the penalty spot. Obviously did miss that penalty last Tuesday, or a couple Tuesdays ago now, against Port Vale, but has still contributed to the 3 assists. He averages 1.2 key passes per game with a 76% accurate pass rate. Interception stat isn't amazing at just 0.8, but 2.9 tackles per game, 6.5 balls recovered per game. I'll be very surprised if there's any player that's got a higher amount of balls recovered per game than Smallwood. 2.3 clearances per game as well. He has had 2 errors which have directly led to a shot and 1 penalty offence committed, but it was never a penalty away at Walsall in a million years. He wins 56% of his ground duels and 58% of his aerial duels, and also accumulated the 9 yellow cards so far this season. In isolation, he's been a big part of Bradford City's success so far this campaign. Always available, never injured, and in my personal opinion, is in at 4th. Into my top 3 then. In 3rd place, I'm going with Colchester United midfielder Jack Payne. Now, he just seems to get better and better every time that he is in League 2. He then goes to League 1 and always struggles at that level. Jack Payne is one of the epitome of far too good for this level, but probably not good enough for the division above. So if Colchester do get promoted, and they've heavily relied on Jack Payne to get out of there, would be interesting to see how they do go about kind of replacing these goals, because he's always struggled at the division above. But this season, he has played nearly 3,250 minutes. He scored the 8 goals and also contributed to 10 assists, averaging 2.2 key passes per game. Absolutely outstanding numbers. 18 goal contributions in 37 starts for a team who were pretty much garbage until the turn of the new year's. An absolutely incredible return. I thought it was a great signing at the time, and it obviously has proved to be now. 1.6 tackles per game, 5.1 balls recovered per game as well. He has a 55% successful dribble rate. That's probably because he's so small, such a low centre of gravity. Wins 52% of his ground duels. Again, only 19% of his aerial duels. But you watch Jack Payne play, he's got an absolute wonder of a left foot. Brilliant player, and definitely deserves to be in the top 3 in my opinion. In 2nd position, we have the other Port Vale player, and that is Ryan Croasdale. I was very disappointed that Bradford City didn't try and sign him in the summer. Or maybe we tried, but obviously eventually he did go to Port Vale, and I was really disappointed with that, because I thought he was brilliant for Stockport County last campaign. I think he'd been more than good enough to make that step up into League 1. Obviously he decided to move on to a new challenge, and he's been absolutely brilliant so far this campaign. 40 appearances, 34 of them have been starts. For me, he should be playing every minute, like Richie Smallwood at Bradford City. I know Darren Moore likes to rotate and give other players different availabilities and all that sort of stuff, but Croasdale for me, he is absolutely outstanding. 3 goals for him so far this campaign, and also a further 4 assists, whilst creating the 8 big chances with a 78% accurate pass rate. Again, interception stat isn't amazing at just 0.7, but 2.5 tackles per game, 4.5 balls recovered per game, 1.4 clearances per game as well. He wins 55% of his ground duels and 54% of his aerial duels. He just controls every game that he plays. When I was watching the battle between him and Smallwood last Tuesday, I thought it was a really, really good watch. On one occasion, Croasdale would get the better of Smallwood. The next occasion, Smallwood would get the better of Croasdale. And I think that was a real battle between 2 committed midfielders. I think they're both excellent for this level. Croasdale, in my opinion, ever so slightly edges it so far this campaign. Maybe it's me not wanting to be a little bit too biased, as we'll see who I obviously have in 1st place. But Ryan Croasdale for me, absolutely brilliant this season. And again, similar to the likes of Ben Garrity, George Byers, very unlucky not to get on this list, but I do think he has been a little bit injury prone for me to make it on here. But Croasdale for me, absolutely excellent, and has to be on here because he's been a key part of Port Vale's promotion rise this season. And League 2's best midfielder from the 2024-25 campaign, in my personal opinion, is Bradford City's Anthony Sarsfield. Now, this is the reason why I didn't want to put Smallwood in 2nd, because if I have Smallwood in 2nd, Sarsfield in 1st, and we end up finishing 4th, I then look a little bit silly. So maybe I'm saving my own back a little bit, but if it was not for injuries, we'd have easily hit 100 points this season. We've only lost 2 games which Anthony Sarsfield has played in, not started, played in so far this season. We've won near enough every game that he's played. He has been absolutely incredible. I think we've won 13 of his 19 matches, drawn a couple and lost 2. He's an absolute joke for this level. You know, we all know he is a promotion specialist. In 16 starts this season, he's got 5 goals and 4 assists, somehow without actually creating a big chance. Defensively, very solid as well, with 1.9 tackles per game, 4.1 balls recovered per game, and 1.1 clearances per game as well. Some of these games that he's played, or quite a lot of them games, has been played as a number 6 alongside Richie Smallwood when Pattison has either been injured or suspended. to have that type of return, though, is absolutely outstanding. Wins over 50% of his ground and aerial duels, and you watch Anthony Sarcevic play, he's an absolute level above. He's got that class that nobody else has in this division. You can argue amongst yourselves, I will not hear anything different. If he would have been fit for the full season, if injuries weren't a thing in football, goodness me, we would have broke the points record, because he is so good. He'll hopefully be back on Saturday, maybe on the bench for Swindon away. If not, he'll be back for the final couple of games, your Notts Counties, your Chesterfields, your Doncasters, your Fleetwoods, and if he is fit, we're winning the title 100%. As soon as he comes back to fitness, we're pretty much going to win every game after that, because he is that good. He's an absolute joke for this level, and for me personally, he's not just one of the best midfielders, he's one of the best players in this entire league. So Sarcevic's in at first place. And there we have it then. There is my ranking of League Two's top 10 midfielders from this season. Defensive midfielders, box-to-box, attacking midfielders, all in there. Some honourable nominations, the likes of Jake Reeves, Jamie Jellis, George Byers, Elliot Bonds, Osama Ashley, Reece Walters. I'm sure there's a number of other players that I could give a lot of credit for, Matthew Palmer being another one as well. If you want to see me do a part 2, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below, because I always see people mentioning something like a Cameron Norman, good player, but he's not amongst the best 10 fullbacks in the entire division. Regan Hendry, good midfielder, but he's not amongst the best 10 in the entire league, and this is across the full campaign as well. Now, the fact that I've got Sarcevic in first, having only started the 16 games, goes to show how highly I rate him. He'd be one of the best midfielders in the division above. He is that good. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for watching today's video, though. Don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. 200 likes as always would be massively appreciated, and get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with my ranking, and what would your top 10 ranking be as well?